my gosh. Good morning, y'all. I just finished a reading. Check it out. It might be for you. But this is really just strictly for the Yamas and Niyamas book. I don't know if you already have it. I think you can go online and maybe get a free PDF. Nonetheless, I wanted to come on and read it out loud, even have a discussion, and hopefully that it will help you in any way that it may need to on your journey to discovering yourself or loving yourself, whatever it may be. I have a favorite mug that sits on my desk, my office desk filled with the pencils and pens. This mug was given to me by one of my brothers many years ago, and I still look at it daily and chuckle. The mug says things to do today. 1. Stops the arm race. 2. Floss. I mention the mug because not only does it keep me tuned to both the lofty ideals of my life as well as the practical components, but it also speaks to the essence of the Yamas and Niyamas. These 10 guidelines sit as both a vision of the possibilities of human existence, as well as providing the practical guidance to make skillful moment to moment choices in our daily lives. We all want to live well, let's face it. At the end of the day, it's not how much you have or how much you have accomplished that counts. What matters is how well you have participated in your own life, both the ordinary routines and the extraordinary surprises. It's how you feel inside when you lay your head on your pillow. Does a feeling of joy and well-being accompany you to bed, or does your head touch the pillow with thoughts of anger, bitterness, helplessness, frustration, self-disappointment, or whiny complaints? Being human is a complicated thing. We live within myriad confusing choices and contradictions. As human beings living among other life forms, we need to navigate our own personal needs within those of the community. As spirit hanging out in a human body, we need to live within the potential of our limitless dreams and our limited physical reality. In the midst of our indecision and confusion, these guidelines are like helping hands moving us deeper into our own authenticity and into a life that is richer and fuller than we could ever imagine, simply because we are living with more skill and awareness. This may sound easy, but it is not. How do we gain mastery over our choices when life seems to toss us around with its ups and downs, demands, and many voices telling us what we need and what is wrong with us? How do we gain skill when we find ourselves continuing to do what we promised ourselves we would never do again? How do we gain skill when we just screamed at our child or our partner and now we feel lousy? How do we gain skill when we feel stuck in a dead end job that is sucking us dry? How do we gain skill when we just dug into chocolate and now we are beating ourselves up with messages of self-loathing? Gain skill to choose our attitude, to choose what we think, and to choose what we do may be the grandest adventure we can take as a human being. In the film Last Holiday, Georgia Bird, shocked by discovering she has only 3 weeks to live, decides to make her dream life of possibilities into reality. In an amazing shift of character from a timid woman stuck in her perceived realities of life, she suddenly bursts forth boldly and claims the life she has always wanted for herself. It doesn't need to take a death sentence for us to change. We have the choice to burst forth boldly and claim our lives in this very moment. And yoga's 10 guidelines, the yamas and niyamas, can support that very leap into the life we seek. Under their guidance, the turbulence and the drama that are often a familiar part of our life begin to disappear. The result of a skillfully lived life is nothing less than joy, not the kind that comes when things are going our way and disappears just as quickly, but the kind that bubbles up from within. The kind of joy that comes from our own sense of mastery in life, that no matter what life brings, we are ready. Maybe there's nothing to figure out ahead of time. There is only a life to live, well or not. Which are you choosing for yourself? All right, let's begin. What are the yamas and the niyamas? The yamas and niyamas are foundation to all yogic thought. Yoga is a sophisticated system that extends far beyond doing yoga postures. It is literally a way of living. Yoga is designed to bring you more and more awareness of not only your body, but also your thoughts. The teachings are a practical step-by-step methodology that brings understanding to your experiences while at the same time pointing the way to the next experience. They are like a detailed map telling you where you are now and how to look for the next landmark. They facilitate taking ownership of your life and directing it towards a fulfillment that you seek. The yamas and niyamas may be thought of as guidelines, tenets, ethical disciplines, precepts, or restraints and observances. Often think of them as jewels because they are the rare gems of wisdom that give direction to a well-lived and joyful life. These jewels sit as the first two limbs of the Eightfold Path. The first 5 jewels are referred to as yamas, a Sanskrit word that translates literally into the word restraints and includes nonviolence, truthfulness, non-stealing, non-excess, and non-possessiveness. The last 5 jewels are referred to as the niyamas or observances and include purity, contentment, self-discipline. Stop! Sorry, y'all. My dog. Self-discipline, self-study, and surrender. Many guidelines to ethical conduct may leave us feeling overwhelmed with concepts or boxed in by rule sets. Yoga's guidelines do not limit us from living life, but rather they begin to open life up to us more and more fully, and they flow easily into one another in ways that are practical and easy to grasp. So the first jewel is nonviolence, sits as the foundation to the other guidelines, which in turn enhance the meaning and flesh out the richness of nonviolence. Nonviolence is a stance of right relationship with others and with self that is neither self-sacrifice nor self-aggrandizement. I think I said that right. I think I did. This tenet guides us to live together, share the goods, and do what we want without causing harm to others or ourselves. Truthfulness is the second jewel, is partnered with nonviolence. The marriage of these two guidelines creates a powerful dance between two seeming opposites. We can appreciate this statement when we begin to practice speaking our truth without causing harm to others. As partners, truthfulness keeps nonviolence from being a wimpy cop-out, while nonviolence keeps truthfulness from being a brutal weapon. When they are dancing perfectly together, they create a spectacular sight. Their union is nothing short of profound love in its fullest expression. And when there is cause for disharmony or confusion between the two, truthfulness bows to nonviolence. First and foremost, do no harm. The third jewel is non-stealing. It guides our attempts and tendencies to look outward for satisfaction. Often our dissatisfaction with ourselves and our lives leads us to this outward gaze, with a tendency to steal what is not rightfully ours. We steal from the earth, we steal from others, and we steal from ourselves. We steal from our own opportunity to grow ourselves into the person who has the right to have the life they want. Non-excess is the fourth jewel, has been interpreted by many to mean celibacy or abstinence. Although this could certainly be one interpretation of non-excess, its literal meaning is walking with God. Whatever your beliefs about the divine, this tenet implies an awareness of sacredness in all our actions and an attentiveness to each moment that moves us into a stance of holiness. From this place of sacredness, the boundary is set to leave excess behind and live within the limits of enough. If we have been practicing non-stealing, we will automatically find ourselves primed to practice this guideline. Non-possessiveness, the fifth jewel and last of the guidelines known as the yamas, liberates us from greed. It reminds us that clinging to people and material objects only weighs us down and makes life a heavy and disappointing experience. When we practice letting go, stop! Why? When we practice letting go, we move ourselves towards freedom and an enjoyment of life that is expansive and fresh. If we have begun to live the first 5 jewels well, we may notice that our time is freeing up and there is more breathing space into our lives. The days begin to feel a little lighter and easier. Work is more enjoyable and our relationships with others are a little smoother. We like ourselves a little more. There's a lighter gait to our step. We realize that we need less than we previously thought. We are having more fun. As we begin our study of the final 5 jewels of Niyamas, we move into a more subtle realm and into an interior resting place, a place that becomes like Sabbath for us. Purity. The 6th jewel is an invitation to cleanse our bodies, our attitudes, and our actions. It asks us to clean up our acts so we can be more available to the qualities in life that we are seeking. This precept also invites us to purify how we relate to what is uppermost in the moment. It is a quality of being aligned in our relationship with others, with the task at hand, and with ourselves. Contentment, the 7th jewel, cannot be sought. All the things we do to bring fulfillment to ourselves. Stop! Bring fulfillment to ourselves actually interfere with our own satisfaction and well-being. Contentment can only be found in acceptance and appreciation of what is in the moment. The more we learn to leave what is alone, the more contentment will quietly and steadily find us. Self-discipline, the eighth jewel, literally means heat and can also be translated as catharsis or austerities. Austerities. That's how you practice learning how to read. Oh my gosh, austerities. It is anything which impacts us to change. Change makes us spiritual heavyweights in the game of life. It is preparation for our own greatness. We all know how easy it is to be a person of high character when things are going our way. But what about those times life deals us a dark card? Who are you in those moments? This guideline is an invitation to purposely seek or out refining your own strength of character, and it asks, can you trust the heat? Can you trust the path of change itself? Self-study. The ninth jewel is a pursuit of knowing ourselves, studying what drives us and what shapes us, because these things literally are the cause of the lives we are living. Self-study asks us to look at the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves and realize that these stories create the reality of our lives. Ultimately, this tenet invites us to release the false and limiting perception of our ego, perception our ego has imposed on us, and know the truth of our divine self. Surrender is a tenth jewel, reminds us that life knows what to do better than we do. Through devotion, trust, and active engagement, we can receive each moment with an open heart rather than paddling upstream. Surrender is an invitation to go with the underlying current, enjoy the ride, and take in the view. In this book, each Yama and Niyama has been given its own chapter in which the philosophy of the guideline is woven with practical examples and stories. At the end of either chapter, I have included a list of questions as a guide for reflection. I encourage you to journal and to form a study group to help deepen your commitment to your learning and to yourself. So that's what this podcast, I'm going to end up posting these videos to the podcast, but if you catch me live, you catch me live for the live discussion, right? So let's just reflect. So there's 10 total jewels. The yamas are 5, the niyamas are 5. And these are just guidelines or jewels of wisdom to help us get to a path of self. That's all. No harm. So the first, I'm going to repeat out loud so you can write it down. I wrote mine down. And then after each chapter, I want us to write down the journal prompts, or at least take one that resonates with you. And then we'll have a discussion at the end of each chapter about what we read and how it relates, etc. So the first 5, write these down: nonviolence, truthfulness, non-stealing, non-excess, and non-possessiveness. The last 5 are nonviolence, truthfulness, non-stealing, non-excess, non-possessiveness. We want to get to a place where we are pure, content, disciplined, aware, and in flow. Pure, content, disciplined, aware, and in flow. The aware is the self-study. The flow is the surrender. When we come either tonight or nope, I already said it. I try to do the evening read aloud. I was so tired yesterday, y'all. So that's why I didn't do it at 8 p.m. But I'm thinking the morning times will be best for me. Maybe on the weekends I might do more of an evening read aloud / discussion. So next time we meet, it will be about nonviolence, which is pronounced Amisa, Ahimsa. And thank you for showing up today. We all want to live and do better, so this is how we show up to do so. It takes every day, each step. Like that movie, What About Bob? Baby steps, baby steps. We're taking baby steps. Yeah, so until next time, have a beautiful day.